So today we're going to go over to the Yolo bypass on our virtual field trip. Gives you a chance to leave your room a little bit, so to say. But anyways, here is the Yolo bypass. It is located off of Highway 80 going westbound out of Sacramento. All you have to do is take the Childs Road to exit. And they do have auto tours, as you can see down below. They have those roads where you can go drive around the preserve. And it is a sanctuary for many animals, including lots of waterfowl, because it's directly in the middle of the Pacific Flyway. So some of the animals that you can see down below would be jackrabbits, cottontails, muskrats, squirrels, of course, river otters, beaver, coyote, sometimes maybe if you're lucky an opossum, but definitely in the evening time, Mexican free-tailed bats, and we're going to see where those live underneath the overpass. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information so that you can come over here with your family maybe and visit some of these places. It's a wonderful place to go ahead and grab some food, some sandwiches, and come on over. There's benches to sit down with, and it's quite a relaxing day to go over there. So, when we go over this lesson, there's a few things that you're going to need to learn, and it's all going to be centralized over evolution. Evolution is the topic. Natural selection, adaptation, speciation, skeletal structure comparison, scientific theory, fossils, meaning trace, index, and amber fossils, and population control with disease, especially with those Mexican free-tailed bats. That'll be interesting. So those are all things that you can replay and write down on a paper, because those will definitely be on the test on Friday, and we will also be reinforcing that with Kia.com and doing a scavenger hunt. So let's head on over to the Yolo bypass and see what's going on. This is a pretty cool place. It's got a lot of auto tour trails and stuff, and places that you can go and look at things. But this is the area right here underneath the overpass. And this is called a bypass because when the river gets too full, they bypass part of the water so it doesn't flood Sacramento, and this will actually be underwater right here. It can get pretty deep in some of these places along here. They use this area as part of a sanctuary. There's some rice fields that are seasonal, and it's definitely a refuge for waterfowl. And for conservation efforts, they do have hunting areas further down south here in the area. I've been there a few times in the past. I used to do a lot of hunting here, and for waterfowl, ducks and geese. So mainly. All right, but this is underneath the overpass right here where the bats are. And these bats are migratory. They go in between central North America and to the top part of South America, like around Colombia and so forth. And they'll find their shelter underneath these overpasses and tight crevices, as you can see underneath here. And caves and certain parts of buildings and so forth. I don't really want to get underneath it. I can't see any, just like you, it looks really dark. But they hide inside of those cracks right there, and I don't see any on the ground. That's one thing that I look for. because bats, they do go up next to each other underneath these crevices, and so diseases will spread fairly easily in between them because they have such close contact. And they are one of the main carriers of rabies. And so when they get that, sometimes what they'll do is they'll fall on the ground, and other animals like raccoons will come over and go, "What's going on with that? It's acting weird," right? And the bat will bite them. And then it's transmitted to the next one. And you can, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it definitely here. We have some tracks of some raccoons underneath here. These ones are larger. Now, if I had to guess, that would be a coyote, because they do have coyotes here, and it's a weird relationship with the hunters over here, because if they do wound a duck or something and it goes off and dies overnight, the coyotes come in and they finish them off. Well, there is a lot of raccoon tracks, right? They do have hands that they use, but their primary diet is crawfish. They hang out around the water, and there's a lot of water holes and crawfish around in this area. Anyways, these bats, these Mexican free-tailed bats, will nest underneath here, and then in the evenings they'll come out and they'll go around those trees right over there, if you can kind of see them in the distance there, and they'll come out like a swirling tornado. I mean, it's crazy how many they are. And there'll be a lot of people here with their families going and watching them. The rangers over here at the Yolo Bypass are really nice people. They help manage the area with tractors and redoing the landscape and so forth. And they have bat tours, bat walks. They have workshops where you make little bat houses for them. They have a lot of cool stuff going on if you just go online and look up Yolo Bypass bats, and they'll tell you all about that, okay? But bats have one thing in common with us. They have a bone structure starting with the top of their arm that starts with one bone, and then their forearms have two bones, and then where our wrist has many bones, and then we have fingers. And interestingly enough, these bats they actually have the same format: one bone, two bone, many bones, and fingers, and their fingers have webbing in between. Okay, so you're gonna see this bone similarity in a lot of animals: one bone, two bones, many bones, and then fingers. Watch on the other side. Same thing. It'll be the same thing with a cat, a dog, a human, even a whale or a dolphin. And actually, if you've ever had chicken wings, you know, bats are mammals, and then you have chickens, which are birds. And if you have a chicken wing, like buffalo wings, you'll notice that it has the same structure: one bone, two bone, many bones, and fingers. And if you flip over rocks, you know, there are snakes over here. Whoop. And look at that. There is a crawfish hole. Oh, there's a centipede. Wait, what was that? That was a centipede. You know what? The only place I've ever seen those centipedes is on those documentaries with the caves. In bats, they go around there and they feed. That's interesting. I've never seen one like in person. Alright, so we're going over another part of the bypass, Yolo Bypass here. And of course it is a wetland, and we're going to fly over some fishermen coming up here. There's a lot of people fishing down there for crappie, bluegill, and carp. And they do pretty good out there. But anyways, there's going to be some swallows that are using this area as a nesting area. Remember, we talked about the swallows before and their wing length. You know, the ones that have certain wing length and they get hit by cars don't survive. Well, that is another adaptation for natural selection. So we're going to go over there and we're going to look at those swallows, and we're going to go down there and take a look at the fishermen and so forth. And the video won't be much longer, and then you're going to have a little bit of studying to do after that on Kia.com. Okay, so let's go ahead and head down and take a look. Here's another area right here where you can get crappie, carp and stuff. There's usually like a lot of fishermen here and women. Anyways, this is one of the areas where they control the water flow too. Look at all the swallows right there. Right? What's swallow in Japanese? Sabami. Right? Alright, so what are they doing? Well, these things are motors up on the top right here. They're pretty big motors. They look like they're about 40 horsepower motors or so, maybe 50, I don't know. They're pretty strong, and they pump the water so that they can pump the water from right here to over here to raise up the water level to fill up the fields with those other valves that I showed you. Let me see if I can get down here without a snake or a spider on me or something. I've never seen any rattlesnakes here, but they do have water snakes and rat snakes and stuff, and those are not venomous. So I just don't want to step on one on accident. If I find one, I'm actually going to pick it up. Oh, see their nest? Look at that. Can you see them? A little bit? Right? One thing these swallows don't like is my drone. And I've never had one hit my drone, but they come really close to it and try to chase it away. They think it's a hawk or something. So you can imagine, right? These things go and they nest here and they go to the bathroom and it falls on the water, and what does that feed? Bugs, right? And what do the bugs feed? Fish. And when the fish die, crawfish eat them, right? And other bugs and stuff. Anyways, not somewhere you'd want to go swimming, but that's somewhat interesting, right? Now, do you remember when I told you about these swallows and how they cross the road? When you have these populations of swallows that are next to a highway or a road, and you can kind of see them with their wing length. If they have really long wings, they can fly fast, but they can't turn fast. If they have really short wings or shorter wings, then they can turn fast, but they can't fly very fast from like a predator, but they can turn fast. So if they're living next to a road and they're crossing back and forth like this where there's cars going by, what length of wing do you think they should have to best survive in that environment? Short wings or long wings? That might be on the test, so, right? Short wings, because they're not going to be able to outrun a 60, 70 mile an hour vehicle, but they can swerve really quick to get away from it. And what happens when one of these babies is going to be born with the long wings like they used to be? Because every now and then there will be one. Well, if they live right here, that would be a good thing. If they live by a road, they wouldn't have any babies because they would be dead. Right? Oh, look at this, too. Oh, I got one of them stuck on my foot. I hate these things. You ever see these? You ever want to know, they have like little hooks. If you look at them, they kind of like go like that, right? This is where the guy that, or the person that invented Velcro got the idea from. These things. And they are seeds. Get caught in the fur and then eventually they fall off and somewhere else far away, right? All right, so here we are on one of the stops. It doesn't look that exciting, does it? It said it's a wildlife viewing area, and you're allowed to go down here until where you see these signs that say stop right here, closed zone, no hunting or trespassing, right? Even in duck season, this area is off limits because they grow rice out here in these fields. And like I said before, you know, they get water from the river, and then they divert it through these valves. So they have people, that's their job, right, to know how these different irrigation valves work. There's one there. Whoa, I almost fell in the hole. Oh my gosh. All right, check this out. Here's one here. Well, you think that would be a cool job, huh? Just come over here and turn this handle and make this water go over to this field over here or something. It'd be pretty cool. But and if you look closely, you'll see some crawfish holes right there. You can see the dirt kind of dug around it. That's where, if you wanted to come out here with like a little pole. Hey, what's that? Does somebody have a crawfish trap? I'm pretty sure those are illegal. I just noticed that right now. But look at this crawfish trap. Now, I'm going to do something I told you not to do, but I'm only going to put one foot on it and pull this. They are not supposed to have this. This has obviously been left here from a long time ago. Let me put it over here, because I'm not putting this muddy thing inside of my car. I'll tell the ranger it's in the middle. They're pretty cool rangers out here. See? I guess some people might use these as a fish trap too, but I think it's more of a crawfish trap, right? You put bait inside of it, like dead fish or something, and then they crawl like right inside of here in this funnel shape, and they come through here. And when they get inside, they go out, and they can't figure out how to get up to the hole to go out. I'll see if I can find anything else. If I can't, I can't. Look, there's some thistle right here. Looks pretty, but this is a nasty plant right here. Oh, this is a nice flower. But is it? Ow! See? It already poked me. That hurt. Anyways, that's not something you want to walk through, huh? Look at those spines. This thing has evolved to have a defense mechanism of spines, so you don't want to eat it. You definitely don't want to touch it. You don't want to rip the leaves off. There's so many spines that you don't even want to sit there and take a couple spines off to eat it, if you know, because some plants are edible. But anyways, these things get seeds and then they come out, and birds like mourning doves go and eat them. There'll be seeds on the ground probably about August, September. It takes about that long after they get pollinated, right? Here's a field here. I can imagine pheasant would be out here at certain times. Anyways, there's Sacramento over there. It is so clear outside, right? Because there's not that many cars out on the road like there usually is, and a lot of the factories around the world are not really working that much, so the air pollution is really down. You probably aren't going to see it like this that much more in the future, right? Other than right now with everything that's going on, so enjoy it while you can.